All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning back into this vlog. I really appreciate all your support. Everything. I've gotten many more subscribers than I had anticipated, so that's a good thing. I guess people are watching the stories and appreciating the stories. I appreciate that. I also am digging the comments that you are leaving in the comments section below. Please keep them coming. I really appreciate you guys doing that. It's not so lonely on this side of the camera when you see people leave thoughtful comments and things like that on the content that I'm putting out. So it's story time again today. So we're going to get into a story about my experiences with 11/11 phenomenon and the 1/11 phenomenon. Many of you Many of you may be familiar with the 11/11 and 1/11 phenomenon. If you're not, Google it, YouTube it. There's a ton of information out there about this phenomenon. And it's been a constant in my life for many, many, many years. And I'm going to read a journal entry regarding that. And anyway, let's get into it and let's get into this journal entry. All right, so this is the journal here, talking about my handwritten journal. So before I wrote this journal entry, my pages were not numbered in this journal. I just was writing the journal entries willy-nilly, not daily, just whenever that inspiration came to me, things of that nature. So the pages weren't numbered or anything, so keep that in mind. All right, so here goes the journal entry. Saturday, July 11, 1998, 9:14 a.m. Well, it's been 11 years since my dad died of cancer, which he battled for 11 years. I can still remember that day almost like it happened yesterday. It was a beautiful Saturday morning. I was 14 years old. My day started out with me, my brother Dale, and Alan went water skiing with Dale's friend Matt at Pine View Lake. We had a great time on the lake. We came home around mid-afternoon. Grandma and Grandpa and Tanya were in the kitchen making potato or fruit salad. I stopped and talked with them for a moment. Alan and I had a regional church dance to go to, so I went off and got ready for the dance. I was really excited for the dance. I was really excited to go to this dance because the girl I had a crush on at the time, Cindy, was going to be there. So we go to the dance. It was at the church on 3200 West, just off 4100 South. So we're at the dance, and Cindy pretty much just totally ignored me. After that, I was really bummed and felt rejected. I didn't want to be anywhere near her, so I walked home. Somewhere along the way, Eric, my friend, joined up with me. Keep in mind, the walk home was probably about 3.5 miles or so, the walk home. My friend Eric joined up with me, and we were walking home together. I remember feeling a little annoyed because I wanted time to myself. Anyway, we stopped by a 7-Eleven, and I bought a Jolt Cola, and we continued our walk home. We ended up going by Cindy's house on Walter Way, which I think just frustrated me more. Finally, I get home, kind of tired from my long walk. I go in my room, turn on the light and my radio, and I went back outside to put the key away in our secret hiding spot in the shed. As I was putting the key away, Cheryl, my neighbor, came by and said that my mom had called and that we needed to get to the hospital right away. At that moment, I knew my dad had died. I didn't cry at the time. The news came more as an internal shock and as a reaffirmation that it's over, all the pain, suffering, and waiting. Then the next thought I had was, now I'm fatherless, followed with some resentment. I guess it was like one of my lives ended and a new, very unfamiliar and uncharted life started. We called my oldest brother's in-laws home, and they were already on the way to the hospital. My brother Dale was working at Burger King, and I went with our neighbors to pick up Dale and then went back to the dance to pick up my brother Alan. Actually, I think we picked up Alan first, then Dale. But anyway, the dance, we drove to the University of Utah Hospital. I don't think anybody said a word the whole time, the whole way there. When we arrived at my dad's room, he had been dead for an hour or so, and he was laying on the bed. My oldest brother Mike, and his wife were already there. It was then that I started to cry. My mom asked if we wanted to say anything to him before we left. All my brothers said something to Dad, but I couldn't get the nerve to do it. Besides, I was speechless. I didn't have anything to say at the time. We spent about 45 minutes in the room with Dad. After that, we picked up his belongings and left. That whole day seemed so unreal to me. It was like a dream or a movie or something, but I've never forgotten the details of that day, nor will I ever. 11 years later, I miss my dad greatly. I often wonder how things would be if he were still around. There are so many things I want to talk about, get his opinion on. I wish I could get advice from him, talk about my troubles, my worries. I have dreams about Dad and with Dad in them. Those dreams always make me wonder about their meanings. I also think it would be interesting and comforting to have my dad appear to me while I'm awake so that I can talk to him and spend time with him. What would I talk to him about or ask him if I ever did get to see him? I don't know. I would ask him the way things are going in my life now. Am I on the right track to accomplish what Heavenly Father wants me to accomplish? What can I do to do better? How can I better raise and discipline my kids? Kind of sounds like a prayer. Maybe I should use these things as topics for real prayers. All right, so that was the end of that journal entry about my dad passing away 11 years to that day back in 1998. And the reason why this pertains to the 11/11 phenomenon so significantly is, like I had mentioned earlier, I didn't number the pages of my journal and just randomly wrote in the journal from time to time. And so I wrote this particular entry about what I remember about the day that he died, 11 years earlier from that entry. And so I decided I was going to go back and number the pages. And, in numbering the pages, that exact entry the beginning of it landed on page 111. And so all of those 11s and 111s lining up really rocked my world at that time. He had cancer for 11 years. He died on the 11th of July, which incidentally was the day after his 23rd wedding anniversary. So all these 11s and then the page number landing on page 111 just was crazy mind blowing. I'm like, what's the chances of that happening? I don't know. It was crazy interesting. So anyway, the 11/11 phenomenon, 111 and 11/11, they appear in my life regularly, like all the time. Many people say it could be confirmation bias. It could be, that we're used to looking at clocks and things at certain times subconsciously, which turns out to be, on 11/11 or 111. The interesting thing also to note is 111 and 11/11 will also appear on clocks that are wrong, clocks that we just use maybe like the radio for, but the actual timer is not correct. And so randomly I'll just look at it and it'll be like 11/11 or 111 or something. So even on wrong clocks it occurs. And yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing. So anyway, that's my story about the 11/11 phenomenon as it pertains to what happened the day that my dad died and everything. So I hope you like that story. Let me know if you have any similar experiences with 11/11 or 1/11 in your lives. It's pretty crazy stuff. I'd like to hear about your stories down below. Hit the like button, hit subscribe if you like this kind of content, and keep on supporting the channel. I really appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.